Okay, so I am here to tell you to stop using your bullet journal for being productive. Stop writing down all your to-dos and all of your long list of things that you're keeping track of, or your cleaning schedule, or like all of these extra things that we record in our bullet journal, and instead use a bullet journal for like what's actually in the name, which is journaling. And so I have been bullet journaling now for over 6 years. And I originally was one of those people whose spreads were ridiculous. And I was keeping track of everything and overcomplicating it. And over the years, I've really played around with different ways of using the bullet journal. And in the last 3 years, I've really honed in on this concept of using the bullet journal more for this place where I can check in with myself, really do some self-discovery. And as I've like gone down more and more of this rabbit hole, I even started using my bullet journal recently in the last few months to actually keep a journal about my day to day. And instead of just tracking all of these tasks and things that I'm doing, I'm actually writing about my life. And I have ways of checking in on a monthly basis and a yearly basis as well that really help me kind of stay connected to what my values are, what I'm prioritizing, and where I'm trying to go. And so I'm going to show you how to use. So first of all, I love this bullet journal so much. This is I've done my last two, and then my new one is also going to be in the Reverie. It's Reverie. I'll put a link below, but it's made in France, and I would totally buy one if it was made in the USA, but I can't find one. And the reason is because it's all watercolor. So if any of you are interested in watercolor, and trust me, you can have the most basic journal. Like I have seen the cutest journals that are just black and white, or you can do like black pen and just have highlighting markers. I mean, you can keep it so simple and cute. But you can also, as I found out over the years, use your bullet journal as a way of like art therapy. And I am not really like an artist. I'm not going to go paint a big picture to put on anyone's wall, but I love to play with color. I love to play with paint. And so this is a way for me to kind of play around, have fun, but I don't have to worry about like, oh, it has to be perfect because, you're going to try to like put this up somewhere, which no one would want. So anyway, I just like to play with art, and I'm not really the best at it. And so I'm actually going to demonstrate that to you in the setup on why I like watercolor for that reason. But again, like I think the most basic black and white bullet journal can be done so cute. And again, this is really more about the journaling aspect. Okay, so the big things that I've started to do in the last few years is I do a yearly check-in. So I ask myself a bunch of things about the previous year. And I write down my best memories and things I learned, things that were challenging, things that made me feel alive. And I'll go through each question with you later. And then I do a whole page on what I'm looking forward to in the year to come, which I will also go deeper into. And then the one thing I keep track of is my moods. And I do this because it actually helped me kind of figure something out about what was triggering my anxiety. And I do kind of like to know, generally speaking, where I'm at most of the time. And so to me, this is important. That's the only thing I track though. And then, I do a weekly journal or a weekly goal tracking as well. But then the next thing I love to do is a monthly check-in. And so I will, at the beginning of each month, I will do a check-in page where I ask myself different questions like, how was last month? How are you doing? What are your needs? What are your family's needs? Things like that, so that I can check in with where I'm at each month. And it's so much fun to go back and read, especially at the end of the year. When you go back, it kind of like threads a story. And it's just a cool way every month to just see what's happening with yourself. And then let's see what I started doing the last few months that I mentioned before was actually journaling every day. So, and this is my weekly spread. Okay. So all it is little or square. So this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the weekend is right here. And journal, and then a to-do list. And that's it. That's all I'm keeping track of each day or each week. And it's great because I have all of this fun stuff. And don't worry, I still, like, I did an Ayurveda cleanse and I put that in my journal, things like that. So I still do use it to keep track of things, but I'm really putting my focus and the emphasis of actually having a journal on like actually journaling. So anyway, I'm gonna go through this process of setting up my new bullet journal one by one. So I'm going to make smaller videos to go with this video of each page that I did in here. And I'll kind of group it together a little bit so that you can get an idea of how I set up a bullet journal. You obviously don't have to set it up the same way. I'm just here to inspire you, give you ideas, and maybe even inspire you to rethink how you're doing your bullet journal, and maybe even do it more in a way where you're journaling. And I'm going to leave you with one last thought. In the Yoga Sutras, the 8 limbs of yoga, the second limb is the niyamas, and svadhyaya is the study of the self. And this is the 4th niyama. And sva means self, and adhyaya means reading or lecture, or lesson was the word. And so in the niyamas, these are the things that we're supposed to be doing to have like a disciplined life or to lead ourselves to spirituality. And one of those things is svadhyaya, which is self-study. And one of the ways that, you know, we can self-study is not only, of course, meditating, but by journaling. And I think that's something that gets kind of left out a lot of the times. And it's great to have a spiritual practice and be meditating every day. It's also great if you don't meditate every day and you journal every day or whatever you're doing on a daily basis. But I think a lot of times we do forget that journaling is also a very spiritual practice. And so this is a way of really actually, instead of just being so productive, and what do we even get with all of our productivity when we're running around just trying to get things done all day? And if we can't take time out of our day to just check in and write about our life and spend some time self-reflecting, what kind of spiritual life are we leading? So I highly encourage you to not only rethink your bullet journal for your own sanity, but also to kind of think about it as more of a spiritual tool than just this like productivity device that we use to make us just like superwoman or something, which is, I think, what I originally thought I was doing when I started bullet journaling. And now I'm really much softer about it and much, much, much more interested in the spiritual side of my bullet journal. And so stay tuned. I'd love to hear your thoughts about whether you journal in your bullet journal, or if you feel like this is dumb, you just want to use it to be productive. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I will show you the rest of my journal.